These are my legs and my feet and my flip-flops. That's right. This is me actually walking around the pool at my gym. I like to swim, but I always make sure that I am wearing flip-flops when I'm walking around the pool at my gym. Also, when I'm in the locker room and when I'm showering at my gym in particular, I make sure I'm wearing shoes. Why? Well, it's because I want to make sure that I'm protecting my feet against any infections, in particular, tinea pedis or athlete's foot. Guys, we are talking about athlete's foot today. We are also talking about jock itch. Both of those infections are caused by yeast, fungus, or also called tinea, which is the medical name. Let's start with athlete's foot. Tinea pedis, tinea, fungal, pedis means feet, right? So what's the deal here? You guys, I don't know if you've had athlete's foot, but take a look at this. Kind of looks pretty angry, right? Looks uncomfortable. With athlete's foot, you generally get the infection in between the toes and at the top of the toes, behind the toes. But that's the general area. The skin can become raw, red, angry, irritated, itchy, painful. Some people get blisters. Some people get a little bit of oozing. The skin can peel. It can just be really, really uncomfortable. And again, this is an infection caused by a fungus. And I know you say, well, how do you get athlete's foot? Well, fungal infections tend to like to thrive in moist, sort of damp environments. So some things that can predispose us to having athlete's foot or getting it are, let's say, if you sweat a lot on your feet and you're not able to keep your feet dry, well, that could predispose you to getting athlete's foot. Also, let's say if your feet are wet for other reasons, maybe you swim a lot or whatever, they're just in water and they're not dry enough or don't stay dry long enough, you could also develop an athlete's foot or tinea pedis infection with that as well. Also, wearing closed shoes, if your footwear is such that it's not breathable, maybe it's got like a rubber lining or something like that, it could create an environment where fungal infections can thrive, okay? And this is athlete's foot. Now, there is good news here, right? There are things that we can do about athlete's foot. There are treatments. But first of all, let's talk about prevention. First thing you want to do is make sure you are wearing shower shoes like I do, okay? When you're around pools, when you are showering, when you're in public places, things like that. That is super important. I would also say don't share shoes and socks and things like that and dry towels and stuff. Athlete's foot, just as jock itch, they're caused by fungi. It's potentially contagious. Okay, you can actually spread it to other parts of your body, also potentially to other people. Keep that in mind. Trying to keep your feet dry is very, very important. Making sure that you're washing with soap and water. Wearing breathable socks is going to be very important. Changing out your shoes, not wearing damp shoes, damp from anything, whether it's your sweat or something else, is going to be very important as well. Flip-flops and sandals can be great for sort of airing out your toes and keeping things dry. Well-ventilated shoes in general. Also, there are powders over the counter that can help you dry things, but if you're able to do it on your own, say like with just sort of, making sure you're changing your socks, etc. That can be great. Keep in mind that there are treatments for athlete's foot. There are both over-the-counter and prescription treatments as well. If you have any questions about what your diagnosis is, make sure you are talking to your doctor about that to get a proper diagnosis. But yeah, there's treatments over the counter and prescription, so that's something to keep in mind. Some people may have a hard time treating this, but yes, it can be treated. So again, remember it's contagious. It's another reason why you just don't want to blow this off. Let's quickly go to jock itch, okay? This is what jock itch can look like, okay? It's the same type of infection. It's a fungal infection, but it typically happens around the groin. But it can also happen in the thigh area, also the buttocks as well. Similar, you get a red rash, blisters. Depending on your skin tone, you can have a darker or lighter rash, colored rash. You can get flaking or peeling of the skin. It can be very irritated as well. You're asking what causes this fungal infection? Well, friction from clothing is one thing. We call it jock itch because oftentimes we've seen it in athletes who might be wearing athletic undergarments. So friction can sort of contribute to a rash that happens like this. Also, the wetness that we talked about with athlete's foot still applies here. So moist, remember our groin can get moist when we're active, we're exercising, etc. That can contribute to a fungal infection as well. Also remember here, this is contagious, right? So we talked about athlete's foot being potentially contagious, so can this. And with athlete's foot and jock itch, both can be transmitted to different parts of the body, okay? Jock itch, the medical word is tinea cruris. Tinea means fungal, cruris means your groin area, okay? What can you do here? What do you want to sort of avoid? What are prevention measures? So things that can promote this, obviously sweating in the groin, sharing clothing, not drying off your groin area, bathing and then drying off, drying your clothes, drying your skin, that type of thing, friction from tight clothing, certain health conditions, things like diabetes, and if you're immunocompromised, that can maybe predispose you to getting fungal infections in general. But prevention, what do you need to do? Well, you need to make sure that you're wearing breathable clothing. That's really important. Cotton undies, things like that. You want to try to minimize the amount of friction or clothing with friction that causes friction as much as possible. Make sure that you're washing your athletic undergarments, keeping them clean, keeping them dry as well. Obviously washing your body, making sure that you're drying. There's also powders over the counter that can help you keep things dry if those efforts don't work. But just like with athlete's foot, there is treatment for jock itch, antifungal creams that are over the counter, medications over the counter, as well as prescription, okay? Both exist. So I don't want you to fret. I just want you to make sure you get a proper diagnosis from your doctor, that you get proper treatment. Your doctor can help you with that, but it does exist over the counter and via prescription. I hope this is helpful. Let me know if it was. Let me know if you've ever experienced this, what your experience has been. Oftentimes what you write helps other people. Guys, I'm Dr. Jen Cottle, practicing family physician, on-air health expert, and video creator. I do daily videos on all sorts of stuff. So make sure you follow me on Facebook if you're not there. For those of you who send stars to me on Facebook, thank you so much. I appreciate you in advance. Also consider joining my subscription groups for exclusive content on YouTube. Hello, please subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell for updates. Also, guys, make sure you check out my website, Dr. Jen Cottle, for my .com, drjencottle.com, for my free newsletter, my daily health tips, and all sorts of other things. Also, as I mentioned before, write your experiences down below. I'd love to hear them, guys. I'm Dr. Jen. I'll see you soon.